Well, the day has came. The accident story. I literally have waited a little over a year. It happened yesterday, December 19th, about 11:49, and then I woke up at 12. But anyways, I didn't post about the accident because I didn't want anybody like thinking I was doing it to get views or whatever. So I waited a year, and I wasn't going to do it this time. But I posted a picture on Instagram, like a throwback to what I had. This is very tough to talk about. I posted a picture on Instagram and my DMs are literally flooded with questions of what happened in the accident, how did it happen, are you okay, blah blah, all this crazy stuff. And so I'm just gonna address what happened, talk about every little detail and how I survived, because it's kind of crazy how I actually lived, because it was a rough accident. Yeah, I didn't post about it for a year because I didn't want anybody thinking I was going for views. I still really don't want to post about it, but if you post on Instagram, you got to tell a story, because you can't just leave people hanging thinking, hey, I don't know. Let's get into it. I have a bunch of videos of the day of the accident. Like, I have videos of me going and look at like 3 days after the accident. So I was in the hospital the day after, but I have videos of the car after the accident. I even did a story time. I never posted because the story didn't make any sense. Like, I had a bad concussion, so I was just like talking in circles, and like half the time it was just like, what is going on? So yeah, I think I sent the footage to Colin, and Colin's like, you idiot, I don't even know what you said in this video. I was like, yeah, yeah. So we're doing it right now. Anyway, so basically what happened was, it all started out in Florida. Me, you, Garrett drove to Florida. Do you not remember that, Colin? We drove to Florida, I think it was like December 15th or something. We were gonna go for like a week and a half. So we drove to Florida, had our videos, we filmed a bunch of content, and we came back the 18th. So we drove from Florida to Kansas the 18th, and my idea was to go to our farm, which is in Missouri, and have Christmas. So the 19th, this is the day it happened, guys. The 19th, my brother wanted to go to the farm. So we got in the car about 4 p.m., drove for about 4.5 hours, got to the farm. I don't know if you know, like where I live at the farm is literally, it's miles of open space, houses miles apart, like the dirt roads. The side roads aren't very good. It's not a city vibe. It's like there's a cow there, there's a horse you can slap his lips on. Anyways, let's skip right to it. So we get to the farm about 4, no, I said 9. See, Steven, the whole day was hazy, like the whole week, I was messed up. But we get to the farm about 9. My cousin calls me, he says, you trying to hang? Our thing is we go, because the only gas station is like 20 minutes away, so you gotta take the highway, the road, blah, blah, blah. I was like, sure, let's go. He comes over, we do our little thing, like a small town where you're gonna go hang out at a Walmart parking lot. You know, it's kind of like that vibe. So he's like, you wanna go to the gas station? And this is when it happens. Another thing, the car was not mine. I did not own that Pontiac. I had a Honda Civic before I had my Corvette. A nice...
You weren't driving?
No. Let's get into that. I am one of the safest. I have nothing on my record. Like, I don't have a speeding ticket. And I know that's surprising with the Corvette. Like, Steven, you got to be tearing up the roads. No, okay, I'm a safe driver. I've never had a speeding ticket, never had an accident. Oh, I've been in an accident, you know what I'm saying, Colin? Yeah, okay. Anyways, but so it's like 11:20, right around there. We get in his Pontiac. He just got it. The dirt road you have to drive onto is like 3 miles, so it takes a while to go on the dirt road. And then there comes the main highway. The highway is called 32, and it basically takes you, it's just one road that takes you all the way to the 7-Eleven way up the street, 20 miles, because I don't know why they don't put gas stations around. But the crazy thing is, it wasn't even like 3 minutes on the drive before the terribleness happened. So you go from a dirt road, we were taking a right, and then there's a little, I don't know how to describe this, Bradley, you might be able to put a picture up, but you take a Roger out of the dirt road, and then there's a little, like a house, and it takes kind of just like a bend around a corner, like a right turn, a Roger. So we get on there. The turn is probably not even half a mile up there, maybe a quarter, half, I don't know. But so we get on the road. We're coming up on the turn. Remind you, this is December in Missouri. It is icy. It is wet, rainy, disgustingness. And there was a little bit of ice on the road, but we were going on the road. We're coming up on the turn. We were doing the speed limit about 55. We go into the turn, and the last thing I remember, his wheels turn, but we don't turn. So we slid across the road, and then the tires got gription once we got over the ice. It spun us right, left. So it's a 2-lane highway. We were just going back and forth for about like, it felt like a year, but probably like 2 seconds. And then we get on this side, and over here is a culvert with a fence and a bunch of cows running in their pasture, as you know. And this is where the specialness happened, the fantastic part. So we nosedive into this culvert, start flipping. I think it was like 3 or 4 times we flipped. As I was going through the accident, like I can remember like it was yesterday. As soon as we started heading to the culvert, it was kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. You kind of just know that like there's a good chance that you die. Like I don't know how to call it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the weirdest feeling ever. Like everything goes in slow motion. It's like I accepted that I was probably gonna die. I don't know how to describe it. You just get that feeling. You know you're nosediving into a culvert and like something bad's gonna happen, and like everything is in slow motion, and I just accept. I'm like, Steven, you lasted 20 years. Congratulations. You're probably not gonna make it out of this one. So that is the last thing I thought of before my face slammed into the passenger side window. I shattered that and I was knocked out cold. But the craziest thing is, while we were flipping, I would gain consciousness. Like I would remember, I would see, like through everything, I would see outside the windshield. Maybe I was just dreaming, but I could literally see out the windshield. It was so weird. Like everything was slow motion. I could tell we were flipping. It was insane. So as I'm getting wrapped around, at some point, I think it was the second, maybe the third flip, I flew out the sunroof because there was a glass sunroof. I flew out that sumbug and got dropped on the ground somewhere. I don't know what happened. I got thrown out. The car flipped some more. We were about 100 yards into a field, and I'd say. So that accident, I have a screenshot of what exact time. I guess I grabbed my phone right as we were about to flip. I clinched my phone and I took a screenshot 11:49. So that's exactly when I realized we were about to flip and stuff. So I took my screenshot 11:49. I woke up in the middle of a field with blood. I was face first. It was icy cold. It was winter. It was like 30 degrees. Don't know how I was alive. I was freezing. I woke up face first into the mud, dazed and confused. I didn't know exactly what happened. I thought maybe Steven took a little feather flight and flew away and landed up next to a horse in a field. I don't know. It was a lot of things are going through my mind. But I woke up. I started looking around, and it's not a city area, so you can't wake up and look up into the sky and see lights. You look up and it is pitch black, and you just hope for the best. But I looked up. I started looking around, and I saw the car like 30 yards away from me. I was like, what in the heck happened? Then I started feeling my body, and I realized there was a bunch of gashes on my face, and I could tell my face was swollen. I couldn't tell you if internally if I was gonna die. I didn't know. I just saw a bunch of blood pouring out of me. My shirt was covered, and it literally threw me into like a panic mode. I knew it was like the verge of passing out every time I'd walk. So I saw the car and I was like, oh yeah, I remember what we did. We're driving a car. I run over because my cousin was still in the car. I was like, man, this man might be toasted. So I run to the Pontiac as blood is pouring out of, I don't know if I can use that because of YouTube. As lemonade is pouring out of my body, I was running towards the car, and I was like, oh crap. So he is still in the car. I start shaking him, and the glass was broken. So every time I was shaking, like you can see all my scars on my hands. I was literally like just destroying glass. I don't know what was going. It's like a life or fright moment. I told him to get up, and he's like, what happened? Blah 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 blah. I was like, we got into an accident. Yeah, it's not looking too good. And I start looking around as he gets out of the car. I start looking around, thinking in the middle of a field, Steven pouring out blood, this man decides to call his mom, which was a smart play because the cops would have never found us. No one would have ever found what we were doing unless he would have called his parents. It would have took hours, and Steven probably would have been toasty. Is this getting too deep, Colin?
No.
Okay. I start looking around as I got him out of the car. The man says, I don't know where my glasses are. I'm like, sweet, that's cool. And he can't see if he doesn't have his glasses. So I see there's a fence, the road, about 100 yards, like because we were off the road about 100 yards. I see a house. And I was like, that is going to save my life if I get there. If not, I could literally freeze and lose blood and die. So I saw the house. I was like, that is where I need to go. So I start start sprinting, and as I'm sprinting, I felt like I was going to pass out, and I think it was just because I was in shock. I'm thinking there's internally something wrong with me, or my head is messed up, because I couldn't see my body. I just knew there was a bunch of all over me. And he's like, I can't see. And I was like, I do not care. I need to survive. So I run, I leave him, I sprint off to the fence. I don't know how I got over the fence. It was a 5-foot fence. Steven hopped it in one jump. Didn't check if there was anybody coming on the highway. I just sprinted across the highway, get up to the door. I'm just pouring out lemonade all over the ground on these people's front porch. I feel bad. I've sent them gifts. I've sent them everything because they literally probably saved my life. I get to the front door, lemonade's pouring out, I start knocking. This is like 1:30, so in this part of town, you come in, the stranger comes in, they don't take it lightly. It's like, if you go to these people's houses, it's not like a city. Like they're gonna come loaded. So the woman comes to the door, I said, we've been in an accident, I need an ambulance. The next thing I know, I see in the back, her husband walk up with a nice little pistol pointed at the ground, and I was like, yeah, okay, this ain't good, boys. As I'm pouring blood out, she realizes we're in an accident. The husband puts down. She walks me into her kitchen, and there is, I cannot say, there's literally so much, can I say blood? Yeah. Oh, there's so much, I was pouring blood all over her house, which I felt really bad for, like on her carpet, everything. And this is where the fun gets down. That's where I start realizing how injured I was, because I had no idea how bad I was hurt. She gives me a cloth. I'm just sitting on she gave me a little chair. It's kind of like a lawn chair, but it's kind of like the older ones. I don't know how to describe it. And I just look at the ground, and she starts coating my neck, because I have a bunch of scars on my neck from it. She covers all my wounds. For some reason, I wouldn't stop bleeding. I don't know if it's adrenaline when you like that, but I wouldn't stop bleeding. And I was like, do you think I'm going to survive? And she hit me with I have no idea yet. And after I hear that, I was like, oh, this is quite serious. I know how close I was to probably not rogering it home. I'm trying to take it lightly, but I still get flashbacks of the accident, and it's not fun. She said she doesn't know. We call the ambulance, and we're in the middle of nowhere. So it took them like 45 minutes, which the 45 minutes felt like 5 minutes, because I was just in and out. It wasn't good. I remember I asked her, can I look at myself? And she's like, I don't want you getting blood all over my house, which I understood. So I just stood up over the sink. I looked in the window, and I saw my face, and I was like, yeah, it's not looking too good. This whole side of my face was bloody and swollen up to like so much, and then I saw my clothes, and they were all covered in blood. And I had her take a picture of my neck, and literally there was 4 or 5 big gashes right next to my spine, and I was like, oh, this is not good. This is not good. I think that's when I realized how close I was to like dying. At this point I still don't know. I didn't know if I had internal bleeding. I didn't know if anything was going on. The craziest thing is, when we were at the house, she asked, is there anybody I can call for you to tell you that you've been in an accident or anything? And I was like, how about we don't, I never do this, but I was like, how about we don't call I told her, don't call any of my family, don't call anybody, because I didn't know if I didn't know if I was gonna die, so I didn't want my grandparents the last thing they hear is, Steven's been in a serious accident, blah, 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 blah. My plan was to go to the hospital. If anything happens there, then they find out. But don't do, I should have called my parents. I should have called my grandparents who I was staying with. But I was just thinking, the worst thing you want to hear is a freaking call that says, your son has been in a serious accident and blah, blah, blah. It's just, let's avoid that. Let's avoid that at all costs. But the ambulance ends up coming, and for like an hour, it was a long time. For an hour, I was just sitting there. I asked him again, I said, am I okay? Am I gonna survive? What's going on? What's the deal? And he's like, we don't know until you get to the hospital. And right up here above my eye, I don't know if you know, there's a scar right above my eyebrow, and I ask, do you think anything is broken there? And he's like, I have no idea. So the craziest thing is, like, when you're injured for that long, not knowing what's going to happen, it is the scariest thing of your life. Like, don't know how to explain it unless you've been there, and it's just scary. Like, if I would have had the accident in like where I'm at here, city, like Dallas, it would have been instantaneous. Everything would have happened instantaneous. I would have known if I'm all right. I would have known this. But since we were in the middle of nowhere, it literally was like 2 hours of just constant fear. I didn't know if I had like something in my brain, if I fractured my the bone above my eyeball. I didn't know if I had internal organ, like I had bruises all over here. I didn't know if I had anything wrong with me, and that was the scariest part, was like not knowing if you're okay or not knowing if you're gonna survive. Because like at that moment, all you wanna know is, are you gonna be okay or are you not? I couldn't find my phone. I said I needed my phone, which was somewhere in the field. I lost my shoe. Like, I lost a lot of things that night, and this is where the pictures start showing up. I get my phone back, and this is where I start kind of remembering what happened. So we're gonna go back to December and start rewatching what Steven was thinking during this time. That is, there's a picture of me in the ambulance. As you can see, I had a bunch of this. There was a cut up against my left eye, and it was very swollen, and I could move it around. So I thought maybe I fractured my eye thing. On this side, right under my eye, there was glass, like all up in here. And then my lips, I had blood in my mouth, which I didn't know how I got blood in my mouth. I think it was because I was chewing on glass. I don't know. I think glass went in my mouth, and I cut my mouth up a lot. But it was the cheekbone. As you can see, my whole face was just swollen. And I was like, that's a good sign of something went wrong in the brain area. That was in the ambulance, and that was at 1:26. So for an hour, Steven was very scared because he didn't know if he was alive or what was going on, what was popping. It's a 45-minute drive to the hospital, so you can either go to Lebanon or Springfield. Lebanon, it's known for not being the best hospital, and I was like, take me to the best hospital in the area, please. So we went to Springfield, which is a 45-minute drive in the ambulance. And here's another picture. This is at 3:45. So here's the thing. When I was in the hospital, they did a bunch of they got into my vein. I don't know what, I honestly, this is where it starts fading out because I started forgetting. I had a concussion, so the only reason I can remember all this is because I went and looked at all my old videos of when I was talking about the accident. They put some IVs in me. I did a bunch of MRIs in my face, my neck, and all. I did all that, and it was, I guess I took this picture at 3:45 a.m. You can see the scars starting to go down. Like it doesn't look very bad. That was it. They just told me a severe concussion, a bunch of bruised ribs. Man, I have to go. I don't have the papers with me, but I have a long list of what was wrong with me in the accident. And the craziest thing is getting flipped out of a car. Like the survival rate is like slim to none. I don't know how I survived, to be honest. It was one of those things where I got extremely lucky. I really did. I got extremely lucky. I shouldn't be here. When a car flips 3 or 4 times, I don't know how my cousin, the whole situation is how we survived. No one knows. I'm just thankful that I'm here, you know. I'm glad I can keep making YouTube videos and doing what I'm doing. And honestly, this accident is really what caused me to get deep into YouTube, because they told me I couldn't do anything for a month. So I didn't make any money in December. I didn't make any money in January. So I knew as soon as I got better, I had to go into full grind mode of just YouTube, take everything more serious. And because of the accident, it gave me a second look at everything. This is your chance. You got to take it, my guy. And so it really pushed me over the edge, because at any time you can die. So you just gotta, if the car would have flipped a centimeter differently, I probably wouldn't be here. So I'm thankful that I'm here, and I just take every day with, you look at it differently. The flashbacks of everything comes back, and you know you're lucky to be here, and you just look at everything just a hair differently. And now look what happened. Look at everything. Everything has changed since it's been exactly a year. I bought a Corvette. We live in this house. Everything has changed. It's amazing. And to think that I would have never seen any of this. I wouldn't have known you boys would have been out here, I don't know, eating Christmas trees and probably not in Dallas. It would have been entertaining to see what happened, even though I couldn't watch. My parents came down to get me, to take me to KU, which is a little better hospital. So they drove down at 7 a.m., came and picked me up. They had me in the neck brace and all this BS, and the cuts on my chin. You can see everything. It's not looking too hot. And then 4 days later, I went to look at where I had the accident. So I'm gonna watch the video and just talk you through what happened. So anyways, what we're looking at right now is the road that the accident happened on. As you can see, it's the little bend that I was talking about, and then there, let me walk up there. You can see our tire marks. This is insane. You can literally see our tire marks where we drove off into the culvert, but you can see the culvert, we nosedive into that. Hey, a little post. There's actually a post that we flipped over. So at some point, that probably broke our screen, but we flipped over that. As you can see, that's the first fence we flipped over. There's a bunch of broken wires. Jeez. And we flipped straight through a little tiny fence, Colin. Can you believe that? Yeah, my gold chain. That sunbuck flew off at some point in the accident, and I found it. A lot of things flew off of me. My shoes, my earrings, everything flew off me, but my gold chain, it meant a lot to me. Like it wasn't a cheap chain, it was expensive, and I wanted to keep that. Plus my grandma got it for me and I wanted to keep it, but it flew out at some point in the accident. It's my chain that I always wear. It has the cross on it. It flew out at some point in the accident in the middle of the field, and the next day when I was walking through it, I found it, and I was thankful for that as well. But my gold chain flew off and I found it, and I still wear it to this day. I usually wear it every single day because I'm pretty sure that's why I survived the accident. But you can see that we went through the cow field, we found a bunch of parts, a fence, and we were about 100 yards away from the house, and we flipped into the middle of the field, and that's basically it. But here's a video of me going to actually look at the car. So I guess the next day I'm walking up, I see the car, and I was like, holy crap. There's blood all over it. It is insane. Blood on the airbag. Oh, I find my sandal. See, good came from it. Steven found his sandal that was on the ground, cut my thumb. What a Roger. Oh, yep, there's blood all over where my face got slammed around. Oh man, looking back at this is rough. I haven't seen this footage in a year. This is rough. How is that car? That car is just bent. It's a heavy piece of metal, but geez, Lord, have mercy. Bro, gosh, dang. Yeah, I flew out the sunroof too. That was basically it. That's the story of what happened to Steven. I survived. I'm here. It was not the best experience, the accident. The worst time of my life, the worst couple months. Like for months, me and Garrett, like the day I came back to film, we were on the golf course. Like a lot of the videos that you guys saw during December, January, and February, I was struggling to film. Like I would get on the golf course, I'd play 2 holes, and my back would tense up, and then it would wrap around my chest from all the bruising I had, and I wouldn't be able to breathe. And like, there's a lot of times, that's why I didn't post very much. There's a lot of times I would get out there, try to film, and have to go home. So it was very, not in a million years would I ever want to experience that again. And I hope no one else has to. Like that, it's not fun. And if you have been in an accident, like I know I'm very lucky because there's a good chance I could have been paralyzed. I could have broke a bunch of bones. Flying out of a car, like it is not fun. It is. It's not fun. Anyways, thank you for all the support. I mean, you guys, I remember when the accident happened, I literally was flooded with DMs. It's crazy for me to think about how many people actually cared. I mean, I remember I would be in the hospital and I'd look at my phone and I'd be like, geez, it is insane how much people actually care. And then you'd get calls from like Maddie Scharf.
I didn't want to believe it. When things like that happen, it's like I got in a wreck. That's it. He could be dead in 5 minutes. I was like I think I called him like 8 or 9 different times. I think I tried to call like the grandparents, and I was just trying to get in contact with everybody, making sure that he wasn't gone forever.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a scary time. Took him a year, but it took him a while to recover too. I remember we went out to the snow crusties with us.
Yeah.
We were out there filming in the gunch.
And I would literally just sit there and lay.
Yeah. He would literally have to like lay down, and he would have to take like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, this guy's just out here trying to grind.
Yeah.
Get the job done.
I think after I knew I was fine, I wanted to know I was going to be okay when I posted. I didn't want like a long story of here's what's wrong with him, here's what's wrong with him. I wanted to be the one to post, talk about it. So that's what I did. And I gave him the answer, and then you guys went crazy. You absolute legends. I appreciate everyone, because like I remember we went to the PGA thing in January. Yeah, I remember going to it, and you guys would come up to me and be like, "Are you all right from the accident?" Like it was insane, and I appreciate everybody that watched the videos. Like you guys are legends. That's just how it is. But anyways, yeah, that was my story. It was a year later on Christmas Eve. Yeah, I don't know when this video is going live, but I hope you guys enjoy it. It's different. It's not golf, but I know it's been a year and you guys still have no idea what happened to Steven. Honestly, it was too soon. I didn't want people to think about it, and I didn't want to even talk about it. I didn't like to think about it because it was scary. It gave me anxiety about there was a lot of times I couldn't get into a car because it's just scary. I literally still have freaking problems from this accident. It is so bad. There'll be times, I tell Colin all the time, I cannot swing a freaking golf club. There'll be times where I have four shots and my back just tenses up, or I'll go to the range and try to actually practice golf and my back will just be dead, and I'll be like, sweet. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was the accident. Hopefully it never happens again. We will catch you in the next one. Peace.